Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. Shir sponsor Louis Nishma Sar Miak Shalom Le'Ab B'Sichok. We're holding in Avoda Zara Daf Samech Hey. We're starting in the top of Amud Aleph. The Gemara says like this. Before we go on, we're going to start about 7 or 8 lines built down on Amud Aleph in the words Rova Amtil, that's where it ends. But before we get to that, I just want to say one nekuda that has to do with yesterday's daf, we're still going to mention it, is that the idea of a ger toishov. In yesterday's daf, it said that a ger toishov, there's 3 opinions. What is a ger toishov? Is a ger toishov one who says I can do over the Zara, or it is the one who is mekabel himself 7 mitzvahs b'nayach, or is someone who did all the mitzvot except one. So what you see from the third opinion, and everybody asks when you could do what about Shabbos, is actually a bir halacha. The bir halacha mentions in Hilchos Shabbos, he brings that the ger toishav can accept in himself any mitzvah he wants, including Shabbos. Whatever mitzvah he wants to accept, he accepts himself. He's not a Jew, he's still a goy, but it's a ger toishav, he can accept the 7 mitzvahs b'nayach is the minimum. But above that, he can accept whatever he wants. And the third opinion is he literally, according to where the Biur Halachin stands, the second and third opinion is very little. Second opinion says 7 mitzvahs or more, and the third opinion says all mitzvahs, but there's some exceptions. So it's an interesting idea that Ger Toishav is a semi-yid who accepts in himself some mitzvahs. Something more like this: Rava Antile Kurvano LeBarshisha B'Yom. He gave him a korban. He gave him a gift on Sheshach, in the day of B'Yom Edom and the Chag of the Goy. Oh my Adana Beit the Lepolach. I know he doesn't worship with the Zara. How's the Ashkar the Yosef at Savore Bevardo? Pekaimen Zoynois Arumus Keme. So he comes and he sees him sitting in a bath with a rose bath full of roses, which would mean there was a very fine water, and there is in front of him zoinas arumas, naked woman. That's what he's doing. That's what Basheshach is doing. So the Basheshach seemingly makes a little fun on Rava. He says, Rava, look at this. Look what I have. Delicious water. Naked Zionist, what this you have in an Abba? Ours is much greater than yours. What's greater than this? Says you have fear of the king. I don't have fear of a king. You're enjoying, but you always have. Who knows? Maybe the king will come and call you. We don't have that. Well, what do you mean? I'm not afraid of any king. What do you want from me? Adiasya, as they're talking, also who Priskoso de Malko came the messenger of the king. The king is calling you. He had to stop all his joy and pleasures to go to the king. Rava's point was proven. He says, look how great you are. The eye that wanted to see bad things about you should explode, should go away, because you, in other words, he's giving a bracha. He says, or klola against your enemies. And he says, listen, it's amazing that I questioned you and you proved me wrong. Rava says, your klola shechavichal, poka eine de barshirah. So barshirah's eye went out. Papa, he says the following pasuk. So you have the daughters, you have princesses standing in front of you. And the first you point out, meaning Amish will have princesses, not zoinas, princesses that will be serving them. You can't see, it's so great, you can't see it in this world. Now, there's a lot of Torah over here. We're not going to go raise a show. Anybody wants the Shur Machshava on the daf on this daf, it's glad to listen to it. But we are just to mention that the way the Mefarshim pointed out is that Bashishah basically questioned. He says, I have the greatest pleasure of this world, or the Maaseh. You belong to Olam Haba. I know it's a different pleasure. It's not a pleasure, the same pleasure, but you have, can it compare to the pleasure of this what I have? Can it compare it or not? And he says, in order to give it to your understanding, your pleasure is limited because you always have something that's bothering you. The king is calling you, something's on your head. We don't have that. We can have alternate pleasure. That's the way he wanted to bring it to his mind, even though it's not close. One of the times the Gemara says, just said, you can't even understand, you can't comprehend the pleasure we can have. But the answer to your question is, if you want to take the biggest pleasure you have in this world, next world we will be in a higher level because there won't be any worries, anything above us. So that's one of the Yaros Dvash has a beautiful idea here. It says that the whole idea of human beings, when he has a challenge, and something has to stand. And that's what he said. I said, I know Olam Haba you is going to be so pleasurous, but you will have no challenges. There'll be no challenges there. So he told me there will be the explaining what will be the challenges. There's a beautiful idea that the Sefer Chassidus bring. Meir Shiloach and others, they say, you know, Pshat is what Rav was telling him is, you have Amos Adamalko, you have the fear of the king. You know which king? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're fearing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? Because for HaKadosh Baruch Hu is scary. So he says, yeah, right now your pleasure. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu will reveal himself, you can run with your tail between your legs. And suddenly came a chaz from the king to emphasize this point. If the king calls you this way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself, you're done. We are not afraid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We love HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Of course, there's Yira, but it's the Yira of Ava. When we're not trying to run away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Otherwise, we want to be with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Actually, told him that we don't have a Masa the Malk. Says the Gemara, okay, we saw in the Mishnah that if he hired him for something else and then he went and he didn't Yain Nesech, so it's okay. Even though he did not tell him in the evening. One hired a Yisrael to work, and then he told him in the evening, in other words, more understand, after he finished his job. He said, you know, by the way, you're already here. Do me a favor, just stop the Yain Nesech. Why? Because he finished the job. If he's doing during the day, it's part of his job, part of he's hiring for the day. He says also we talk about here, he's saying in the evening, that's what our Mishnah is talking about. He didn't say in the middle of the day, he said in the end of the day. It depends. If he tells them, I want you to transfer me 100 barrels for 100 prutos. So then, if he does the Yain Nesech, it's fine. What does it mean, Yain Nesech? The Machlekes Rashi Taisis is the Yain Nesech one of the 100 or not? Rashi is one of the 100. So he says, what does that mean? My son, they told him 100, and one of the 100 is Yain Nesech. I'm getting money, I'm getting paid for Yain Nesech. So he says, he told him 100, and he's doing 101. So 100 is paying for, that's what he paid for, and the 101 is not.
You know which one is the one?
So then you could say that we're not getting them, I'm paying for the other 100. That's what I mean paying. I can associate it. But that is when he says 100 for 100. But if he says it's 1 per 1, so he's basically saying, give me for each barrel that you carry and give you $1. So I give you $1 for the Yain Nesech. The Gemara brings around from a rice, so transfer 100 barrels in 100 prutos. And you find a barrel of wine between them. It's also Chavis, a pruto. But it says sorry, I made a mistake. I said before wrong. Let me correct it. He says, if I said right, I said it wrong. Mama said the opposite of the right thing. Let's see it again. Rashi says, look cash. Let's see Rashi side. Masidik tani mutu going to aveli chavis pruto. It said chavis sheyayin esra b'neim shadi pruto lenora. It was an easier thing. He gave for every barrel does $1. So the barrel of Yain Nesech, the dollar for that Yain Nesech, throw away. Everything else you can enjoy. Inami l'shokol me'ad gechavim. V'inech mishtar d'lo shayach shechar hu chavis be'ad yain eschar hu chavis be'ad yainach. Kol chad kin agro pe'ad. Each one is on its own. So I gave you $1 per barrel. So all the barrels they did, no problem. The one they took Yain Nesach, either don't take the money, or no, you get it. Whatever, if you got mixed up, you take it out. Rise to the chilar to the hair about the kos charasu given normally have mea chavius mea prutos. So kol kamudu averinu lekul lo yoev lemidi kakula agashar be. He's not paying him until he's not finishing his job. So yeah, is that part of the whole thing? It says transfer 100 and transfer 100 between them is the Yanesach. Then it's us. So more about time they bring around from the price. So it's a prayer of formula averili mea chavius mea prutos 100 for 100. It says chavit sheyanes meneim schor also. Then it's also unless he does in the evening. Chavis choy the prutim. It says chavit sheyanes meneim schor mutter. Then it's mutter because that prutim you don't take or you throw it away. Hasoich is a chamor lavia leyanes schor also. So it says in the Mishnah that if he gave him a donkey, so and he put on the donkey, put the yanesech, so it's okay. So if he told him that I want the donkey to carry yanesech is also. If you tell him I want the donkey for myself, and by the way, he put on the yanesech is mutter. Hatul amali. Why you have to tell me this case? I knew ratio exactly the same idea of the ratio when you pay the poil. Says the more I want the next part. He rented the donkey to sit on it. Even though he put on it his flask. Meaning, you want to tell me that it's not part of why I hired you to ride the donkey. Now you put wine in it, that's not part of the rental. You're not supposed to put it there. The side you put on it is two explanations what ksusa means. Ksusa means clothing, or it means his pillow. But he put that pillow, it's something he sits on. Like so it means that flask. And the food for that way. If you're not the owner of the donkey, say sorry, you can't put so much on it. The barley is going to eat. For tamin is straw. And the food he needs for that day. He says more than that, it's too much, you're putting too much on it. So he says, yeah, you're right. You're not supposed to, you're allowed to put, it's part of the deal. If I'm taking a car, I can take with the car, I could put, water in the car. You're allowed to do that. But let's say I didn't put water in the car. Do I pay you less for the rental? No. Right? It's like I put luggage in the car. You want to put luggage in your car? Great. You don't put luggage in your car? So great. You're going to pay the same amount. So what's the case? If the shech lemizban chamor naim leakev, ve'lid lo shech lemizban soichen ami lo leakev. So one asks, there's a point in the side point. We say you can put all the food for the animal. So if it's very easy to buy it, so the chamor should say that you can take food on the thing. The chamor should say, no, don't take food on the donkey. And if it's not common, you can't find the food. So soicha should say, so why could the soicha say don't put more on the donkey? Right? So we have over here the chomer could put on it. The renter, he puts, that's it goes back to Bometzia, that the renter could put on the food for the entire journey. And the chomer could put only one day. Are you able to get food during the way? So the chomer should tell the renter, don't put so much food. It's too much of a load. Buy what you need for that day. When we get to the next supermarket, you'll buy. If there's no supermarkets on the way, there's no stores, so everybody needs to put food over there. Says the Gemara, it is, you could buy it, but it's not easy. You have to go in the black market underneath the street. You have to know what you're doing. So it depends who it is. The donkey man who is that's his profession. He's going always in the ways. He knows where to go. But the renter doesn't know what he's doing. So the renter doesn't want to be busy going around looking for food. So that's why you can put more food on the donkey. So the father of Acho, son of Aviko, which means it's a little hard to understand, but Avoda of Acho, brother of Aviko. So who is the father of Rav Acha? The father of Rav Acha b'Rei Rabika. So who is the father? Iko. And you could have said Iko. So the father of Rav Acha b'Rei Rabika. Because right, no, because if you would say Iko, I don't know who Iko is. Oh, it's Rav Acha bar Iko, the father. So he says, okay. So what do you do? Havo with Asmachem with Beisatah. Have a shafit lu chamil of kechavim. The ozor ma'avro v'yav gul fe'be'akos. So what he did is like this. He used to have barrels of wine, and he used to take the barrel. The way it used to be, the in general, usually when a person sells a barrel of wine, he sells the barrel as well. And what he used to do, he used to sell the barrel of wine. Then he used to pour from the barrel to the small jugs of the buyers, and give them a barrel of wine, and they would pay him back. How do they pay him back? They gave part of the payment. They give him the barrel back, even though the barrel belongs to them. They still gave him back the barrel.
He sold the barrel to one guy?
Yeah, to buyers. Going, it's going, right? But here, what happened? Came a bunch of going. He takes the barrel, he pours wine into their jugs. Their small containers have wine in them. It's Inessa. Now, they give him back his barrel.
You have leftover.
The barrel, no. The barrel is never had any Inessa. Tell you what it says. This has to do with the sugi that we'll see later regarding nitzuk. Nitzuk means that you're pouring. We're not going to get into it right now. This is discusses thing. But what's the problem? They gave him, and then he goes as mavro mavro. In addition, the Gemara understands right now, he transports them. Mavro takes the boat to transport them from where they are to the other side of the river, and he pays for it. So what is the more problem? If you have the goofy bag, they give him the barrel back as payment. Also, they get to Abai, and so this is what he's doing. Says, yeah, but he's not. He's pouring the barrels of wine, which are kosher wine. Right? He wants them to survive. I mean, he was very happy with the wine. He wants the jugs that they have, the small containers, to remain intact. Because if they break, they're going to take the barrel, not give him the barrel. So he wants the containers to remain. These containers are holding Yeshiva. So now he's holding Yeshiva over here. So the Gemara, the Mati Bada, he makes a condition, even if they break, you're not taking the barrels. Inami de Maisu Prisdoki Be'adai. They bring extra jugs or small barrels. So they always have extra containers. They don't need the barrel. So he's using the barrel. There's no problem with the barrel. Hi, they're enjoying the Yeshiva in the jugs. He's not enjoying it. He doesn't care if it's there. On 1 second, he's paying for the transport, and the transport is transporting their wines. Says the Gemara. Yeah. So says the Gemara, the Qatar is busy with the Isura. In other words, he was the owner of these rivers, meaning he was the one who collected the taxes. So he told the guy, don't collect taxes. That's what he did. So do that for free. So the Rishonim explain, I mean, the shipman will do it for free. And that's not considered to be that he is actually paid because he was the owner. Inami the Nokid Bei Kitri, he gives them a simon for the sapon. In other words, he's not paying, he's not giving anything right now, at least not directly, and therefore he's not considered to be he's toireach in Yeshiva. He's not busy in Yeshiva, he's not paying for it. Now maybe he's paying before, maybe he's taking care of it before. They were showing and discuss. I said the day he needs to take care of it. The shaila is that he may be not really involved because he owns it. Because he owns it, so he just doesn't collect it, and that's not considered to be that he's actually paying for it. Okay, Zog the Mishnah. Now we're starting here the sugyas. We'll see Be'ez Hashem on Shabbos and Sunday. We have here big sugyas regarding the noise and tam, when things mix up, and you have all these sugyas have to do with mixture davar also davar mutter. So let's start it today. Zog the Mishnah. Yain nesel shenafal agabe anovi. You have yain nesel that falls on grapes. Idochen, v'edichen ve'mutar. Just wash it out. Tosha says that the grapes are still connected to their stems, so they're not open, because if not, you have an opening. He might remove a course, a source, but if there is a hole there, then it's also the yanis that goes inside. If it fell on figs or dates, they have holes in them. If you could taste the wine, it's also. He brought dry figs in a boat. And a barrel of yanis broke. And it spilled on the figs. If you ask Chacham, say that's fine. So I was going to ask right away. You just said it's not fine because it has the taste. If you have a taste, you see that it gives taste to the thing, it's also. Doesn't give the taste, it's mutter. What does it mean? So as Rashi points out over here, this is another nakuda. It does give taste, but it gives bad taste. The choymitz vinegar that fell in the grease gives a bad taste. It's a noisatam livgam. And that's why it's not a problem, because it doesn't really give a good taste. Tosh brings a different girsa. What's the order of the Mishnah? And it's enough coming a little bit in the question of the Gemara, but let's leave it aside.
What I'm not stopping the Mishnah, nice and calm, but it perfects the item.
How is that possible?
Possible, you have something that normally needs this bad tasting thing, like some recipes call for rotten milk.
Yeah.
Which is a nice and calm begam, but
it's not livgam.
It's begam, but it's
it's not livgam. If you're better, that's not livgam is by definition
what it does to the
food. Yeah. Says more Maisel Easter. You just say you're not allowed to do that, then you say you're allowed to do it. You're missing a part. If it has taste, it's also. If it has a bad taste, it's mutter. He brought these figs in the boat. And the yaines is spilled on them and ruined it because it's a bad taste. Who carried the chit? This was this pile of wheat. The yaines fell on it. So the robber allowed to sell to a goy. If you have kilayim in a beget, you're not allowed to sell to a goy. You can use it to be the saddle of a donkey. But you could do it for a mace. In my time, why can you sell it to a goy? Maybe you'll come and sell it to a straw. So how can you sell the wheat to the guy? You can sell it back to the Jew. So then he allowed to grind them, to bake them, and sell to a guy. Because Yisrael will not buy from a guy. That's called pas akum. He's not going to buy from him if it's wheat. So wheat you buy from a guy, but bread you don't buy from him. Says more Tanan yain yes shafal gibi anovim yedichem memutors. Because asuris says when it falls on grapes that if you wash them they're mutter. If not, and if they have a hole they're also. But if you just found them as mutter, and here mevukos in shen mevukos if it doesn't have a hole in them it's okay. So why here it's also you have to sell to a guy. Wheat has holes, has like a crack in it. It's considered to be open. Now, just two nikudas with this will end. Number one is, there's a big question over here that Rishonim and Achronim discuss. It says, Beged Shavel B'Kilayim. You have a clothing, and within it you have two threads of kilayim. You just don't know where it is. Still also. Sisters, why? What about Batal B'Reif? You always have a rule that it's Batal B'Reif is mutter. Why here is going to be a problem. So Tosfos says here the reason is. So Tosfos wants to say that really each one was mutter, but if it's
it's like possible chol.
Oh, yes, as Tosfos what possible. Because possible chol we say is Batal B'Reif. If I have a drop of milk that falls in a big pot of wheat, it's okay. So why there? Because you say Batal B'Reif. So why kilayim should be different? That's what Tosfos asked in this answer. So Tosfos says, but possible chol is the Yechezkel Kosov. By kilayim, we're saying really each one on its own is okay. The only reason is when it's connected. So if even Batal, that's Tosfos wants to. There's many other answers of Rishonim and Achronim. Someone to say that every thread is considered to be davar chashuv. The davar chashuv is not Batal. That's all the answer is one point. The other thing says over here that you're allowed to do kilayim for a mace. And this brings a discussion, the Torah mentions a few places in Shas.
Aren't they got?
The Tachrichim. Oh, so the question is, it says in more brachis, that when you go in front of a mace, you should cover your tzitzis, because if not, it's loig l'rash, making fun of the mace, that he doesn't have tzitzis. So how here you put it in the kilayim? How you put in kilayim? What about loig l'rash? So Torah brings it, builds it up to say it's the Kirina that we say that macing will, are the potter when the mitzvahs or not? You say macing chav or not? If you say the potter when the mitzvahs, the loig l'rash is that you're doing a mitzvah, he's not doing the mitzvah. Kilayim, it's not that you're doing mitzvah. He's not doing an avera, and you don't have it, so it's not a loig l'rash.
What are you doing with Chasam?
Oh, so what Torah brings? What about the Chesed? They're going to get up in the Chesed. It says because he brings a minhag that there's a minhag that people put tzitzis on a mace. So why you put tzitzis on a mace? Either because you hold the mace do chayav mitzvahs, or because when they get up Chesed they will have tzitzis. So if you get out of the mace of tzitzis, so we get out of the mace, they will have to have kilayim. So there's asked. So this brings. So he says. At this point, so I don't know where he says. He wants to say it's a machlokes. And if you hold in mitzvahs so then you have a problem. And our Gemara holds one no mitzvahs there'll be no mitzvahs. Therefore, it's not an issue. Really, to be a machlokes sukkis, but it's an interesting discussion Torah brings over here. So I wanted to mention it. We'll stop over here and Be'ez Hashem continue from beginning of Safon Dalaf on Shabbos at 5:50 p.m.
Why say Tachrichim is the one?
Shabbos.
That's how they do it, don't they?